Hey everyone. So the other day I was chatting with my sister and I shared with her this idea that I had for basically it's a co-working space with various amenities and things like that that big name companies could rent space out of and essentially set up remote offices across the country for their employees, basically enabling their workforce to work from practically anywhere. And obviously, it's an attractive idea right now, given that a lot of companies are contemplating some kind of hybrid work schedule, or maybe even allowing their employees to work remotely full time. But as it turned out, my sister informed me that I'm not the first person to come up with this idea. Apparently, there was a company called WeWork that already tried this, but it turned out to be kind of a front for this corporate scam that eventually imploded back in 2019. But it was really disheartening for me to hear that somebody else had already thought of this idea and then implemented it. I mean, it just really goes to show how hard it is to come up with a truly innovative idea for a scam that's been cleverly disguised as a novel enterprise. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that scam artists are just really saturating the market right now. I mean, for example, there's probably a million different phone scams going around these days. And it's really hard to stay competitive in that industry. I mean, most of them are just cheap knockoffs of other more successful scams. Things you hear all the time, like someone pretending to be from the IRS, and it's their final notice, or someone calling to say that you won a bunch of money in like a lottery that you never entered, or someone doing a very convincing impersonation of your wife, asking you to pick up groceries on your way home from work. But on those really rare occasions, when I do get a call from a phone scammer and they try something really inventive and original, I just ask myself, why didn't I think of that? After I've already given them my credit card information. And I think it's really an issue that applies more broadly to social media influencers and YouTubers as well. I mean, I don't know a single self-described content creator who hasn't had that experience of coming up with an idea for something that they were going to appropriate, only to discover that it had already been appropriated by somebody else. And it's also unfortunate that in this day and age, scammers are really facing an increasing level of scrutiny in the media. More and more, you hear stories on the news of con artists being held accountable for their previous actions scamming people. And sometimes scams from someone's past get dug up and then publicized, and it just totally ruins their career as a con artist. And it just wasn't like that 10 years ago. I mean, back then you could pull off a successful scam for decades and get away with it. But sometimes I do think it almost might be easier to just try running a legitimate business for a change. But I don't want to be labeled a sellout.